leaders say one thing but do another. They zap the energy right out of the church. Author Mark Twain was a man who was a lifelong critic of the Christian faith. Though he married a woman of deep faith, Twain himself was a cynic. Here's what happened to Twain that caused him to lose his faith. As he was growing up, Twain knew church elders and deacons who owned slaves and abused them. He heard men using foul language and saw them practicing dishonesty during the week after speaking piously in church on Sunday. He listened to minister use the Bible to justify slavery. He was so disturbed by the bad teaching and poor examples of leadership as a whole that he became bitter towards the things of God. That happens sometimes. People judge us more by what we say during the week than by what we say and do on Sunday. You see, we can't be somebody on Sunday and be somebody else Monday through Saturday. It's kind of like we need to walk the talk. We need to be who we say we are as Christians, not just one day a week, but 7 days a week. The early church wanted to make certain that their message always rang true. So they chose people to lead the church who knew Christ firsthand and whose lives had been thoroughly changed through him. You know, there really is only one test to representing God in the world, and it is this: do you know him firsthand? Do you know him? You know, as I said earlier, none of us have physically walked with Christ, but our lives should be a reflection of him to others. You know, when you're called to serve Christ, you are not given an intelligent test. You're not asked how many awards you've won or if you've been the president of an organization. There's only one question that matters. Do you know Jesus? Do you know Jesus? If Jesus is very real in your life, you can do some pretty dumb things and still be an effective servant of God. Now, I was reading about a missionary in Haiti. And he says the worst part of being a missionary is the language. He says it's miserable when you can't communicate the most basic aspects of life, from where's the bathroom to how much do you want for that mango. He says in no time at all you feel like one of the stupidest people on earth. Such as the time he told the yard boy, "Remember, I am garbage," instead of "Remember to take out my garbage." Here are a couple of other things that happened during the missionary's stay. In this incident, he was trying to share the gospel with an individual. The first conversation he had along those lines went like this: "If you accept Jesus Christ," he said to one person, "he will take away your dogs." "My dogs?" the person asked. "I don't have any dogs." "Oh, everyone has dogs, ma'am," he said, continuing his presentation without a clue that he was using the word for dogs instead of the word for sins. But when Jesus forgives them, he said with conviction, it's though you never had a dog in your life. There was another time when the word he wanted to use was mambo, which means voodoo priestess. And instead he said mamba, which means peanut butter. So he gave several impassioned sermons about the dangers of Christians consulting with peanut butter in their times of need. And he says, the sale of peanut butter went down for a while. I thought those were cute. Fortunately for us, it's not a requirement to be an intellectual giant in order for us to serve God and for God to use us. One requirement is paramount. Do you know Jesus? Another important characteristic in a leader is to have a servant's heart. You know, I read a story written by Cal Thomas about a man of tremendous faith. His wife was an alcoholic. His daughter had psychological problems, and he he himself was often in poor health. Yet week after week, he faithfully came to church. He faithfully came into church and was asking people how they were. He was always concerned about the others. He also always brought a blind man with him to church. He was that blind man's transportation. And he would always sit with that blind man. And when they were singing the hymns, he would sing the words in the blind man's ear, so the blind man would sing along with the congregation. Cal Thomas said that man was a Christian leader in every respect. Cal Thomas was right. You know, the church wasn't looking for a superstar to help lead them. They were looking for a servant. They were looking for a servant. And that's what we need today to lead us in our churches. We need people that know Jesus, and we need people who have a servant's heart. For you see, in today's world, credibility is everything. It is everything. People are cynical and suspicious if we are not who we say we are, Monday through Saturday. If we want them to listen to what we have to say, then we need to represent what we say. Again, we need to be who we say we are. The church of old was looking for a leader who knew Jesus. They were looking for someone that would go out and tell others about him. And they were also looking for someone that would go out with a servant's heart and serve others. Brothers and sisters in Christ, I am committed to growing my relationship with Jesus. I will lead, but living a life of servanthood. And I am committed to tell other people about Jesus' love and grace. But here's the question. Are you? Are you willing to go out and grow your relationship with Christ, or continue to grow your relationship with Christ? Are you willing to leave this place and be God's servant? And finally, but certainly not least, are you willing to go out and tell others about how Jesus' love and grace has changed your life? That's the key right there. How has it impacted your life? Then our text says, the disciples prayed, Jesus, you know.